to lesson 3. And in lesson 3, I want us to look at the issues of marketing. You have done your product analysis. You have seen that there is a market. So how do you present that product to the market? We want to understand what is the market and how do we segment our market and how do we present our product to the market. So by the end of this lesson 3, the learner should be able to define what is a market and what is marketing. He must be able to do what we call market segmentation. I'll be able to take you through business canvas model, the 9 blocks, and then the marketing functions and strategies, the marketing mix, which we call the 4. I'll take you through the 4 P's of marketing and the 7 P's of marketing. And the factors that influence the entrepreneur in choosing which method, how do I promote my product, how do I market my product, and as usual, I'll be able to give you a few questions as take home. We ask ourselves, what is a market? You know, in layman's language, we say a market is a place where people gather and they buy and sell, which is correct. And we can have different definitions of a market. We even talk about a market being the conditions that exist that influence the decisions made by the seller and the buyer. Basically, in any market, there is a buyer and the seller. And there are those factors that surround the product or the service. That is a market. Therefore, we say a market is the sum total of all the buyers and sellers in an area or a region or under specific conditions under consideration. That is how we define a market. Then we ask ourselves, what is marketing? Marketing is presenting or communicating or creating awareness about a product or a service to the potential consumer. So marketing, a set of activities, and I want us to emphasize processes. We want to move out of just activities, but a process or programs. Big organizations will create a whole program of marketing. They will create even a whole year's program about how they are going to present and communicate their product to the consumer. So this is done by organizations, and it aims at creating, communicating, and delivering and exchanging offerings that have value and the consumer is willing to pay for. Marketing, it is placing a message to the target market with an aim of, number 1, influencing that market, informing that market, entertaining, persuading, and encouraging them to make a favorable decision towards your product or what you're offering, whether a product or a service. Marketing focuses to bring out the key features of a product or service and promises. It is a promise. You know, you are creating a promise, and a promise to solve a certain problem for the consumer. Marketing, it provides an ability or a chance, or it creates an ability for the marketers to reach people with the right message at the right time. Marketing informs, it competes. You know, marketing also, it is a forum to compete. I like the way maybe Safaricom and Airtel keeps competing. And each one of them tries to bring out the weaknesses of each other. So marketing is also a way of competing. For example, Airtel will tell us that Safaricom, they don't give us 100% of what they sell to us. And they will create that market. So the consumers are made aware. Safaricom will retaliate and tell us that we cannot be able to get exactly in so many areas, we cannot be able to get the network, you know. So they compete using marketing. Marketing sways the decision of the consumer, and it is able to communicate value. So what are the strategies that are used in marketing? Number 1, the strategy that the entrepreneur uses depends on the kind of business. the kind of business, the product, and even the size of that business. So to determine the best type of marketing strategy, one must first of all understand their own business and their target customers. They can use personalized door-to-door, the traditional methods, free sample distribution, print media, electronic media through TV, through radio. All those are approaches that can be used. Now, a big business, for example, may afford those traditional methods of maybe electronic media. But you find that some of the small businesses may not afford that. And that way, they may have to use a different kind of strategy. The key issue here is that you must be able to understand your business and your target customers. Then you choose the strategy that suits your business. Now, there are those businesses that are small and may want to reach their customers. They may have to use what we call personalized selling. Today, however, we have the social media. We have different platforms. For example, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have, a number of them, the WhatsApp. All those are services that are available. They could be used as strategies to market your product or service. Now, before you market, you need to be able to understand your market. How do you understand your market? By profiling it, what we call market segmentation. Market segmentation is a process of dividing a market of potential customers into either groups or regions. You can segment them depending on their age, their income, education level, gender, location, their lifestyle. Where do they buy? The product, if your product aims, the target market is for the old people, you don't do the social media because they will not see it. But if you are targeting young people, you need to choose maybe the Facebook, the digital platform, because that is where they are. So you need first of all to segment your market so that you're able, even as you develop the marketing strategy, you'll be able to know where you're likely to. For example, in an education institution like Mount Kenya University, who are their target? Mount Kenya must understand who are target customer. Are we targeting the parents, or we are targeting the specific students who have finished Form 4, for example? And that way, when we know who we are targeting, we'll be able to develop the right marketing strategy. Let's look at these guides in marketing our products, what we call the business canvas model. And it tries to help us understand our market. I want to start by customer segmentation as my number one thing. Which classes are you targeting? You need to understand, like I've already explained, according to age, education, etc. Then, having identified your target market, you need to understand who are your key partners. What are the suppliers? Who are the suppliers? Having good supplier relationship is key in the success of every business. Now, what are the key activities that you need to do? What are these key activities to ensure that your product or service reaches the consumer? This is what people sometimes ignore, but it is a very key thing. The value proposition. When I buy a dress, for example, I am not buying a dress. There are so many things that I'm buying from that dress. I'm buying the value from that dress. I'm buying the color. I'm buying maybe the warmth. I'm buying, the size. I'm buying, When you are developing your product, you need to understand when that customer buys that product, what really are they buying? Because we don't buy the product per se, we buy the value that it offers to us. So value proposition is very key because it ensures, it either spells success or doom for your business. Then what kind of customer relationship do you need to create? Do you want hit and run business where it is Valentine, you buy flowers, you sell them whether they are bad or, you don't care. After all, tomorrow you will not see that customer. But if you want to create a good customer relationship where you want that customer to keep on coming back and create a customer loyalty, then you must know how you're going to present that product and how you're going to, to establish that relationship. Now, I talked about customer segmentation. So the next key block is the key resources. What are the resources that you require? Without resources, you remember we talked about the profit resources in the resource-based theory. And we said in lesson 2 that the resources that we have are likely to define your success against your competitor. So what are the key resources that you require? You need to know exactly what you want so that you assess, do I have them? Am I likely to have somebody give me those resources even if it's at a cost? Or if you don't have the resources, then you would rather not invest on that because you are bound to fail. Then what are your channels of distribution? How will you ensure that your product reaches the customer? What are the channels? Are you going to do door-to-door? Are you going to place in a fixed place, in a supermarket, in a shop? And that is why sometimes when they are advertising, they will tell us that this product can be found in the leading supermarkets. They are trying to guide us on the channel of distribution. So an entrepreneur must know what are their channels of distribution. And this is dictated by the number of products, the target market, because somebody, you find that depending on the segmentation, and I want to give an example here. If you are selling kales or sukuma wiki to somebody who is staying in the high-end estate, maybe Runda or somewhere, or Muthaiga, you in Kenya, so you cannot go and put the sukuma wiki or the kales on the ground, on the floor, and you start selling them at their gate. They will not buy because they want to buy these that look nice in a big supermarket, in the hypermarkets, So you need to understand your customer. So the distribution channel that you choose depends on your target customer and the way you have segmented. And that is why the 9 blocks are very key for any entrepreneur to understand. The 8th block is cost structure. What are the likely costs? Are they affordable? Are you going to afford the costs that are involved in developing or instituting all the resources that you require and establishing the activities for you to be able to afford to succeed in business? What are your revenue stream? Sometimes entrepreneurs make a mistake of not trying to understand what their revenue streams are. Where do you get your money from? Is it from the 80% or 20% of the people in you are targeting? Who are they? Do you get your 80% from low-income group or 20% from low-income group? You should be able, as an entrepreneur, to deal with those people who will give you 80%, who create 80% of your revenue stream. Give them attention because that way you will be able to expand your revenue stream. Now, the 9 blocks of the business canvas model is very key for our understanding. Why? Because it shows the relationship that all these blocks have for the success of a business. Now, we come to what we are calling the marketing mix. This is a combination of programs or items that create success to the target market. It is putting about the right product at the right place, at the right time, and at the right price. Marketers must create that mix for them to be able to succeed. It's like what I've displayed here. We have the target market here. If we don't give them the right product, we are not going to succeed. For you to give them the right product, you must understand the market need. Now, this target market are not going to just waste their money on a product that they don't think has got the right value. So you must have the right price for that particular product. There is all the intersection of all these 4 P's here. Then the product must be at the right place at the right time. And you must create awareness through promotion. You must persuade, you must influence, you must be able to negotiate through promotion. All of it, the 4 must be mixed to be able to, in the right proportions, to be able to achieve the best. We can expand those 4 and talk about the 7 P's of marketing. Here, we are adding the process. In the process of creating that product, you know, in that process, what is it that you have put in there? In the process of placing the product at the right place at the right time, what is the process that you must go through? So, then there is the physical environment. What is the environment that surrounds? How do you present? For example, in a hotel or restaurant, what are the physical environments? Does one come to your restaurant and the first thing is like very unhygiene place, you know? Because that one will repass the customer. So you must be able to create the physical environment that is attractive to your customer. What about the people? Who are these people? Whether they are in the market or they are just outsiders, how do they judge you? How do they look at you? You must be able to, apart from the 4 P's, you must also be able to cater for these other 3. We call that one the 7 P's of marketing. So I've explained about the 4 P's of marketing. So let's look at what are the factors that influence the entrepreneur in choosing the promotional methods. I talked about the target market, the type of the product, the costs involved. You may want to go through electronic media, but it is expensive. So you may want to look for another alternative. What about the state of technology and the available resources? All those are factors that you need to check. Now, I've come to the end of lesson 3. And again, as usual, I've put a few questions here that are for your review. Differentiate between a market and marketing. Discuss 7 P's of marketing. Say why they are important. Assume that you wish to market a security system product to the low-end market. What are the likely promising strategies that you can use? Discuss about those strategies. What are the challenges that you're likely to encounter and how are you going to mitigate? I want you to think about those questions. As you answer them, I'm sure you will be more enlightened even concerning our lesson 3. Thank you again and stay safe. That's the end of our lesson 3.
We are in a digital era, and Mount Kenya University knows this. The following are the steps to follow so as to complete your online application. Download the application form from the website www.mku.ac.ke. Attach copies of your academic certificates and ID. Pay the application fees via M-Pesa pay bill number 270988. Your ID is the account number. 2,000 shillings is the charge for a postgraduate. You can also deposit in the bank accounts provided on the website. Then email all the above to apply@mku.ac.ke.